latest Digimon manga, Digimon Dreamers, has concluded. Or at least part 1 concluded, judging by the last page saying end of part 1. Digimon Dreamers first started in October 2021 in Psycho Jump, but in early 2023 moved to being free on Digimon.net with an official English translation by an official localization team. This is more or less similar to the web novel Digimon Seekers being available for free and in English legally on Digimon.net. This was another exciting first for the franchise, as previous Digimon manga releases have barely seen any official release outside of Japan, and especially not in English. But was Dreamers actually any good? Honestly, I'll probably be going over a lot of things that I mentioned in my Is Digimon Dreamers Any Good video from a few months ago, but more or less, and honestly speaking, I really just love, and the main thing that I love about Digimon Dreamers is how accessible it is to any type of fan of Digimon. So it's a fantastic love letter to the franchise, and it does have references to various aspects of the Digimon franchise on various different pieces of media, from referencing Ghost Game, which at the time of Digimon Dreamers starting was just starting on TV as well, so that's something that was more or less a new thing or a current thing. It also references things from a long time ago in the franchise, such as Digimon V-Tamer, and of course the fact that a lot of the plot in Digimon Dreamers takes place in the world of Witchenly, which of course, and if you've watched any of my videos before, you'll know that Witchenly is the land that Wizamon came from, but in addition to that, it is also the place that another Bandai virtual pet property takes place, and that series is called Magical Witches. I've gone over the Magical Witches in various videos, so I won't go on about how they work or what they are, but more or less it was just another virtual pet property, but it didn't have the same success as Digimon and Tamagotchi did, being the main virtual pet properties for Bandai. But of course, these are just small references. You don't need to know what V-Tamer is, you don't need to know what Ghost Game is. In fact, it's just a background appearance of Hero and Gammamon, so you don't need to know anything, it's just a background character. V-Tamer just references, and the fact that Witchenly is a world more or less just gets explained in the manga itself. So you're not missing anything if you don't know what Ghost Game is, if you don't know what Witchenly is, if you don't know what Magical Witches are, if you don't know what V-Tamer is, or any other references to any other aspects of the franchise in Digimon Dreamers. They are very minor, and if it's important, they get explained in the context of Digimon Dreamers. So that is a great thing because it means that a newcomer will still be able to enjoy something. They don't need to know various bits of lore, they don't need to know every single release that Digimon has ever had. They just need to enjoy it. They just need to read and enjoy it. But of course, the existing fans who actually do get these references, or the ones who get at least some of these references, will appreciate the references that they see. But again, it's not relevant if you actually get them or not, which in my mind is a perfect way to appeal to both the new fans, someone who's never watched or read or done anything Digimon related in their entire life, but also the existing fans who have either maybe they've only been fans for a few years, maybe they've been fans since the start of the franchise, but any sort of range of existing fans from newbie to literally knows everything that has ever been released in relation to Digimon. So there's a good amount of enjoyment to be had from that, because the references won't really be glaring to someone who doesn't get that it's a reference. They'll just see it for what it is rather than the deep references behind it, and that's great. It's a way to appeal to both the new fans and the old existing fans. So that is why I recommend Digimon Dreamers. But there's also a bit of news which is why I recommend reading Digimon Dreamers as soon as possible. Very soon, like in the next week or two. So we know that Volume 2 of Digimon Dreamers is releasing on April 4th. So this means, unfortunately, that they've also announced that April 3rd will be the last day that all of Digimon Dreamers that is available for free on Digimon Web can be actually read. So chapters 1, 2, and 3 will be still available, but the rest of it won't. Now, that is a real shame since, as of recording this, there's no news of an official English release. Be it physical or digital, there is no news of that. Of course, in Japanese, there's the physical copy and the digital copy in Japanese you can buy, but again, it'll be in Japanese, so it's not going to be completely lost to time. However, if you wanted something official in English, it's not going to be available. At least that's what we know as of recording this, which is like March 20th. And I don't want to delay this video anymore because if I do, Digimon Dreamers will not be around anymore. So yeah, it's kind of a shame. It does make sense in terms of the Japanese release, but again, if there's not going to be an English release, it's just going to be lost, and that's just a shame, and people can't read it if they want to, if they don't know Japanese. However, the fact that they're removing it so soon, like literally the day before, yes, that does make sense in terms of sales. They want people to buy the book, but it just finished. Like, it just finished at the start of March, and they're removing it just less than a month after it finishes. And that's not giving people much time to read and enjoy it. Maybe someone wanted to hold off on reading the whole thing until it was complete, and now they've only got like a few weeks to actually read it. It's a shame. There's not much of a gap between Volume 2 releasing and all of it just being just nuked from the internet. So again, as of recording this, there's no purchasable official English version. So that's a shame. Hopefully they announce it being like maybe on like a Kindle store or something, or some other PDF reader for free, or for like $3 in English. That'll be cool. But as of recording this, there's no news. So basically, if you haven't read it, you should absolutely read it before it goes away just legally forever. And is it good? Absolutely, yes it is. It's a fun read, and again, it's a nice love letter to the franchise, but it's a love letter that if you read, you won't be confused by anything, because anything that you need to know, the story does actually explain to you, which, again, it's a good combination of trying to appeal to the new fans and the old fans, which is just great. And again, it's honestly a huge shame that it doesn't, as of recording this, sound like we're going to get an English release, as in another English release, or an English re-release rather, and it's just going to be kind of just removed completely from Digimon.net on April 3rd, which, yeah, that kind of sucks. And a little self-plug, I guess, I did translate the first 20 or so chapters prior to the official release on Digimon.net, and all of that can be found on this channel, so at least there's that. If you miss out on catching up, I have gone through every single chapter, both before the release and then after the release. I went through my thoughts on each chapter, so all of it's still going to be available on this channel, unless for some reason Bandai decides that that's not cool and they want to remove that. That'll kind of suck. That's why it was more like a read-along than like a full like scanlation, because I thought maybe it's a little bit more like legally better for Bandai to see that and go, okay, that's just someone reading manga to someone next. Let's not give that person a copyright strike or whatever. In any case, yes, huge shame that it's being removed so soon. There is, of course, still Digimon Seekers on DigimonWeb.net, and I worry that if we got a physical copy of Digimon Seekers, which a lot of people are hoping for, then it would obviously go from Digimon.net in the same way that Dreamers has. In a similar way, Digimon Liberator has just started and will be continuing on in April. If that gets a physical release, I'm worried that the same thing will happen there, and if we don't get a physical copy of Digimon Dreamers, in English, I can't imagine us getting a physical copy of Digimon Liberator, considering Digimon Liberator is being actively slapped with the genre of webcomic or web manga. At least Digimon Dreamers was kind of physical first. They released Volume 1 before it was announced it was going to be on Digimon.net. So I'm wondering if Digimon Liberator is going to be forever online, or at least forever as in until Bandai decides that they need the bandwidth or the server space. I don't know. But again, please read Digimon Dreamers before it's too late. And I guess if it is too late, check out my videos because I have gone over the whole plot and I've kind of read along with it since the start, which is good. But again, super sucks that it's being removed and so soon after it finished. I would have hoped that they would have at least kept it around for a year. But unfortunately, it kind of makes sense from a business standpoint. They want people to buy Volume 2, and people might not buy Volume 2 if it's available for free online. I would. I like having, especially when it's a 2-volume thing, I like having the physical thing. When I read all of One Piece, I definitely do not have space for 108 volumes and then whatever 20 volumes more that haven't been released yet. So I read them on my Kindle and I got the digital copies of those. But in terms of Digimon, most of the time it's going to be only a few volumes, so I always will buy those. Same if Digimon Seekers gets a release, same if Digimon Liberator gets a release, I'd get those even if they're available for free online. But maybe a lot of people won't do that, so again, I understand it from a business perspective, but yeah, it just kind of sucks, especially for international fans. It's really like, well, we have the Japanese money, and I don't know what they were expecting from the English release. They got an actual localization company to translate it, so they have it, but I don't know, I honestly would be surprised if we don't get a digital copy, but that's just me. But in any case, those are my thoughts about Digimon Dreamers now that it's finished. Again, it did say Part 1, so maybe we get like a Part 2 or something, or a sequel, or maybe it's just leaving itself open-ended for further future one-shots, like how V-Tamer, many years after it concluded, it got a special like one-shot where Taichi met Taichi from Digimon Adventure : to sort of promote the airing of Digimon Adventure : So maybe it's to leave itself open, maybe there's a Part 2 planned, maybe it's just like, man, we don't know what's going to happen, so we're just going to slap a Part 1 on it. Who knows? I don't trust the girl that shows up in the end of the Part 1, however, but I don't trust anyone. I've got trust issues. Maybe that's for me to unpack later. But in any case, that's it for this video. Let me know your thoughts, comments, questions, etc., in the comments section below. Like this video for the hope that we get like an official like re-release of Digimon Dreamers, so it's not just gone forever. Subscribe if you haven't already, and if you have subscribed, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your enemies, and of course, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!